Football in Philadelphia is a lifestyle, a passion from birth, and a personal responsibility to know the game. Boo when necessary. And think about EATLES, Eagles! Every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Birds 365 was created for you. Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Birds 365. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network. Watch it live on YouTube.
Let's start with the obvious, and that's what's happening down in Houston with what appears to be kind of a shady scenario surrounding allegations with Deshaun Watson. And I don't want to use that term lightly because I don't want to make light of allegations if in fact they're serious. But I think that also opens up a door about what culpability this lawyer has if in fact he's just making it up. What the hell's happening down there in your opinion, Dan?
So yeah, I'm of the opinion, right? Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But what we have here, it's interesting for everyone that's following. It's not really that typical to have a lawyer litigating a case in the press like this. So I guess where everything starts, there's an allegation that was brought forward on Tuesday that there was a sexual assault incident that happened back in March of 2020. Now, could you read into some suspicions that why is this person waiting a year to come forward and file this lawsuit? Sure, I think some can, right? But that doesn't say anything about maybe the veracity or truth of those claims. The things start to get a little messier when you have an incident in August of 2020, a second lawsuit being filed and brought again to the surface in March of 2021. And now with an incident from December of 2020 brought to the light in March of 2021. So if you're wondering why maybe they're coming to the surface now, I think you're fair to speculate. But Watson has more to lose today than he did 6 months ago, than he did 3 months ago. So, we can get into the nature of the allegations, but I think the timing that they're being brought up I don't think it's unavoidable. I mean, it's a leverage play to get as much settlement money as you can. I mean, that's the playbook from the plaintiff side.
Well, when you look at that, can there be like some slander? I mean, for this lawyer, I mean, he's bringing up these charges on social media. I mean, is that allowable?
Yeah, I'm seeing the narrative online, and it's a fair point that people are bringing, right? Like these individuals anybody can bring a case against anyone, right? There's a saying, there's no bar to the courtroom steps, but you can put out allegations against Deshaun Watson, and he can't defend himself, right away. So everyone sees these allegations, and then Deshaun's going to have to deal with it. And people, just human nature, they read the complaint, and then they might not read the part where Deshaun wins his case, right? But they'll maybe think there's some truth to the complaint. There's a standard slander, and we've been on it, gone over it kind of on past shows with you guys. But there's the truth is you can bring a case against a public figure unless there's something called actual malice, where the thing is false, but you bring it anyway. That's the only kind of bar, right? But there seems to be at least some corroboration of the underlying events. I don't want to talk about the actual, non-consensual massage part. It's a he said, she said on that, but. I'm sure there's going to be Instagram messages with Deshaun Watson showing that he did engage with this person online, and maybe texts after the fact where they're alleging he apologized for some things went awry. So, yeah, there seems to be at least something happened, right? I don't know if it's good or bad, but a massage seems like it did occur, and that's maybe the nature and the crux of all these allegations. Similarly, massage therapists, all three at least thus far, and it's going to, for better or for worse. There's some credibility in the fact that three separate women are bringing three separate allegations. The fact that they have the same law firm maybe is a little suspicious, but I think it's fair to read into that there is some credible truth, at least that something occurred, right? That they're not just bringing these things up out of complete thin air.
I think the thing, that makes it shady is not only the timing of it, because everybody knows that Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston, but that the attorney for these plaintiffs and all these allegations is a neighbor, apparently, of the owner of the Houston Texans, who doesn't really want to give up Deshaun Watson, in my view.
Now, I'm going to drop a nugget on you because I'm seeing that narrative, and I'm here to probably correct it, right? It's fun to play conspiracy theories, but who does this hurt, right? It hurts Watson, obviously, right? Who else does it hurt? the Houston Texans. And now I'm going to give you, and I kind of teased it when I was promoting the show, but this time last year, or maybe about a year and a half ago at this point, Antonio Brown was put on the commissioner's exempt list, and he was unable to play football because he had a pending civil assault or civil sexual assault allegation. And he was put by Roger Goodell on the commissioner's exempt list. Adrian Peterson was put on that once upon a time for his own domestic issue. But Antonio Brown wasn't allowed to play football because of allegations. Now, Antonio Brown had 1 or 2 allegations, right? Deshaun Watson has 3, and we're getting reports that there's going to be as many as 6. So it would seem strange to me that the commissioner's exempt list wouldn't be put into play for this. So maybe, that'll keep Deshaun Watson in Houston for another year, but it would also keep him off the field for another year.
Does anybody know, do you have to get paid if you are on the commissioner's exempt list? Meaning if you are under contract and then you're put on that list for, let's say, 8 weeks, do you get paid those 8 weeks? Because if you don't, now I'm going to uncover another onion in this conspiracy and say that might be the Texans' way to say, I'll take the black eye without having to open up my wallet.
Yeah, it's a fair point, and it's exerting even more pressure over on Deshaun Watson. I mean, the truth is this, though. I'll push back a little bit, right? We saw what the alleged package was to get Russell Wilson from the Bears, right? I think it was 3 first-round picks and 2 starters. The return on Deshaun Watson is dropping by the day, right? I don't think the Bears are ponying up. I don't think the Jets are ponying up because we don't know what's on the other end of this lawsuit. So I think it is hurting the Texans, so to speak. I don't think it helps either side. But I do want to point out this attorney that's bringing up these allegations, a guy named Tony Busby, who I didn't realize had such a checkered history in Houston. Apparently, there's some people weren't thrilled with the way he handled a Mario Williams lawsuit back in the day, a former defensive end for the Houston Texans. He's litigating this case in the media, so I think it's more about the attorney bringing PR to it than it's helping the Texans. I think it only hurts the Texans' return on this.
Let me ask this real quick, because once an allegation is made and it's public, especially about a public figure, it goes everywhere. But there is no deterrent to doing it. And it doesn't matter oftentimes to a lot of people how it ends up playing out, whether it's settled, whether it's totally false. None of it matters. Once the horse is out of the barn, there's their perception that this guy's a bad guy or he's doing these things. And whether it's true or not no longer matters. There's got to be something put in place that there's ramifications.
Political system on social media, Jason.
But there's got to be some kind of you can't get blood from a stone, right? So you can say, hey, if you do this and it's not proven outright, then we're going to fine you this amount of money. Well, this amount of money, a lot of people don't have. Some people have that amount of money and it's in their couch cushions, right? Where's the deterrent to making accusations anymore? That's the problem, because in the court of public opinion, for a guy that is marketable and has endorsement opportunities and could lose all of that potential income and no way to recoup it from a person that doesn't have any dough.
Here's the problem. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you by any means. And this was also brought up when I had a big back and forth with someone not so long ago with the Yasiel Puig allegations with the Staples Center. A guy's reputation's on the line. And, for better or for worse, this is how the country and the lawsuits are handled. Jane Doe, right, files a lawsuit. We don't know who files it, but we do know who it's against. And there maybe should be, right, some level of a checks and balances at the courthouse door. Why don't we vet this a little bit and have a preliminary discovery and shield this in confidentiality, the whole thing, not just plaintiff, but also the accused, and put this in some shield of confidentiality before we see if there's some legitimacy to it. But that's not what we have here. I mean, each state is free to come up with their own laws. Like this Harris County over in Texas is where we're litigating this Deshaun Watson case. And these are full public filings. Anybody can see these. And, to your point, I don't, even if they're proven not to be true, seeing, what's out there, right? Someone's private life, you're pulling behind the curtain. You're not going to lose sight of that. I mean, it's even if they're proven to be false at the end of the day, what's going on in someone's private life, right? Under the covers or however you want to phrase it, that's being put out there on blast. And you hate to say it, but it's true. Someone's Q rating, right? Like someone I know, like a guy like Russell Wilson, really cares about that stuff. And Deshaun Watson, as far as we've ever seen, he's a leader in the locker room, great on the field, but he has no off-field issues. And whether or not this is true or false, this does cloud his perception a little bit. And I think it's unfair. I really do.
It's guilty till proven innocent.
Right. Well, that's the problem, is that if you want it regulated, then the people that are in charge of the social media sites where it's happening need to regulate it. They don't. In fact, and you can go to the Carnegie Mellon study.
They proliferate it.
They do. And they make sure that they create and populate accounts to further it. So that's the point. I mean, look, it's happening to professional athletes. It's happening to young black professional athletes. It's happening to old white conservative authors. It's happening to everybody on social media who is a target to where somebody can come out and put a screen cap of an Instagram post of a picture and say, oh, I got him. And then not provide any information or any data or anything like that. And then you know what happens? And I'll leave you with this. What happens is that writer, that athlete, whoever continues to put out a tweet or whatever and saying, show me the evidence. Where is the evidence? And all that does is continue the initial negative misconception of what happens in the first place. It's horrible. And I don't know how it stops.
Well, lastly, too, the truth is never reported with the same fervor as the sensationalist story either.
Well, it's just like a retraction in a newspaper.
Yeah,
it's buried, somewhere.
It's
but
that big, Harry, when the original story is this big.
Right.
I'll give you one thing that just so people are paying attention to this case. There's one inconsistency that I haven't been able to wrap my head around.
Actually, you know what, Dan? That's a perfect way to tease what you're going to tell us in this break, because we're going to wrap the hour coming up next. Dan Lust is in the house. Now, see, that's a pro. He had a pregnant pause. I don't even know if he meant to do that, but he had the pregnant pause right there for a perfect tease. You're noticing that? You're taking notes, Brooks Martinez? You're taking notes on that? All right, we're back.
Why he's driving a Range Rover.
We're back in 3. It's now.
Looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out Booket Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the Booket Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following and stand out amongst your friends by downloading Booket Sports today on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on Booket.
All right, Dan, I apologize, but you were right in the middle of bringing up and making a fantastic point.
Don't assume it's fantastic. I mean, it's a point. I mean, it might not be
better than anything I can say, and I don't know.
Me too,
guys.
So here's the inconsistency, and then I mean, I just find it fascinating. People are viewing this rightly or wrongly as a money grab, right? Because this is being brought up at a time where it stands to hurt Deshaun the most, right? So if you look at these complaints, you don't have to. I mean, you can go through for the factual allegations, but at the end, they're praying and they're requesting nominal financial relief. So they're not asking for $5 million, right? They're asking for nominal, very little relief. Now, I don't know what very little relief is necessarily in the eyes of this attorney, but we do know from Deshaun Watson's statement that prior to the first lawsuit being filed, that there was a demand to settle the case for 6 figures. Now, I don't really view that as being nominal, right? That sounds like a lot of money. So there's a split narrative here. Obviously the plaintiff is coming forward and saying that this isn't about money. But someone has to be lying here because there was an offer made to settle the case in the 6 figures. And that was only one of the 6 cases. So someone's not telling the truth here.
That's absolutely, man. You're going to, all right, if you don't do this, I'm going to go say this. I mean, that's wrong. I mean, at the end of the day, when you bring it and go through the social media, it just puts you in a different, viewpoint to everybody that's looking. So you're damned before you can even say anything about it. I mean, that's often the case, man. And I'm not taking anything from victims because, I mean, I understand, there are people, like that are athletes or whoever, big day guys who think they're privileged and they can do whatever they want to do. But it's hard when it's just a simple guy, is really trying to, walk the world the right way.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, and it's almost like litigation by gunfire, right? Like you put a gun to someone's head and you say, settle the case or else I'm going to file this lawsuit. And then to Eitan, your point, Harry, your point, I mean, there is a fear, right? If the allegations come out that they're believed to be true. And if you want to litigate the Antonio Brown case way back when, right? The guy lost 1.5 years of his career. He lost his elite status as an NFL wide receiver. And that case could have been settled, right? It could have been settled for some amount of money. Would Antonio Brown do it all over again? I mean, maybe, right? And it's maybe unfair that there's a cost benefit analysis to settling a case where you may or may not even be guilty. But It's saying, hey, my whole reputation could be ruined if these allegations are even brought, let alone if they're true or not. Because right now, guys, right, I don't even know if you guys are aware of this. The Antonio Brown case is still going on. Right. I think people have turned the page on that and said Antonio Brown was guilty. He did his time, and now he's back in the NFL. That case has not been decided, but people are being guilty.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry May.
All right, hopefully you were watching in the break. At Sports Law Lust, Lust is how you follow Dan Lust on Twitter. and there's always something going on.
Oh man.
Right in the sports/legal world. So we're going to be chatting with Dan a bunch. And with that, now let me just throw this in here real quick. I'm just going to ask you a simple question. All right. It's no charge with emotion or anything like that. I have about 7 or 8 videos of me recording a tweet that goes out and the impressions basically moving at like 1 to 2 per like 3 to 5 minutes.
Snail's pace.
Exactly. I also have those videos where someone like Jason or Harry, or to a lesser extent Barry, and Barrett, I say that because of the follow count, can retweet it. I've had a video with Michelle Beadle interacting. She has over 1 million. It doesn't do anything at all to increase the rate of impressions.
Right.
I believe that there is something, if it's an algorithm or not, that is actively limiting my impression. Do I have any legal recourse? Because if I don't, I'll just shut up about it.
What have you said about Jack, Eitan?
That he's a piece of...
Now,
I can't say it on the radio. Wait a minute and 40 seconds. I'll say it on the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the long and short, as we've learned with President Trump being kicked off the platform, this is a private platform. People can really do whatever they want. This is not, it's not a full public forum where anybody can say anything. Right.
Right.
So, Eitan, I don't know what you said, but I'm gonna assume, knowing you, Eitan, that you might have said 1 or 2 bad things about Mr. Jack Dorsey.
Would you rep me? Can I hire you?
I'll take any case. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's got to be a good case. We could talk offline.
Is this a good case in your opinion?
Is this winnable?
You know me. You know I'm an idiot, and you also know that
there's a promo
to pay you. So let's balance the two.
Being an idiot is actually not a defense in a court of law. I'm not sure if you knew that.
No, he knows. He knows. He's tried it.
It's been tried and it's failed a couple times.
That's the most accurate thing.
Have you ever heard of the case of Mississippi versus Shander? It was proven.
I need the Westlaw site for that one.
It's still open. Technically, it's still pending, like KP. All right, but it's I shouldn't make nerves because it has nothing to do with that. All right, Dan, thank you, sir. We appreciate you. We'll chat
Danny.
soon.
Great stuff, Dan.
All good, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Got it. That's Sports Law Lust. We're all back. Coming up top of the hour. Oh man, what a day already! It's the middle. PhillyVoice.com/the middle and Sports Map Radio.
Hey, New Jersey, if you bet on
The middle.
I got to be honest with you. If I know you and you ate 75 hot dogs, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, I'm not associating with you.
Like, stay the hell away from me.
Honestly.
Physically, on Twitter, everything.
In fact, anybody that eats a hot dog and soaks the bun in water to make it go down, lose my number.
That's what they do, huh?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Lubricate the hot dog.
The Middle with Eitan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Football in Philadelphia is a lifestyle, a passion from birth, and a personal responsibility to know the game. Boo when necessary. And think about
EATLES, Eagles!
Every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Birds 365 was created for you. Jody Mack, the legendary sports talker, joins forces with NFL insider John McMullen. Birds 365. Start your morning with Johnny Mack and Jody Mack across the JAKIB Media Network. Watch it live on YouTube.